Please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. I read all of the comments. And now, let's get on with the show. When last we left our intrepid adventurers, they're in the seaport of Sylvia's Rest. They're currently in a deep dungeon, preparing for a meeting. The room is full of people, and representing the government is His Royal Highness, Junico Ceylon I, the Jacana of Southern Desirata. Also his Castilian and war leader, Aaron Vell. Additionally, Isaiah Tyr, also known as the Red, and Morgan's husband, but also he's a liaison from the Dragon Throne. For the Chaldite Temple, there's Morgan Tyr, the highest priestess of the state religion, Scala, a temple priestess, and one touched by the ring metal, as well as retired paladin, now priestess, Linda Avec, and current prime paladin, Marcus. Keberdane, mage of the Warpick Guild, is also there, along with Australia Tyr, who's his apprentice. She is also the daughter of Isaiah and Morgan. Daniel the Black, a non-aligned wizard, and Estelle Argentium, who is the guild mistress of the Silver Mages Guild. Each of the party members tell what they know of the story. It's agreed that Dastaria is weakened. The question is she weak enough for the Southern Desiratan forces to attack? Southern Desirata has husbanded their resources for just such a moment, but they have to make sure this is the correct moment. Former paladin, now priestess, Linda Avec wants to take an alt, which is about 400 men, and sail to the northern continent today. She plans to pick up an additional Desiratan alt that is stationed at the port of Lament, and then march both alts north to Desirata, while Dastaria is weakened. Geen Ball, a member of one of the religious orders of the Chaldite Church, called the Jogvox of Myrone, agree, and he pledges his 200 brothers of Myrone and another 100 auxiliaries when they arrive in Lament. Several of the alt leaders nod and express support for Linda Avec. Many fought at her side when she was paladin. Plans are starting to be made, soldiers are beginning to talk, and suddenly there's a loud pounding on the floor, and everyone looks to see who dares break up their discussions. It's High Priestess Morgan Tyr, the highest-ranking member of the Chaldite Church. She brings her staff crashing down on the flagstones. She reminds Priestess Linda that the government of Southern Desirata determines if and when the kingdom goes to war. Chastised, Linda sits down and is quiet. Daniel the Black, a friend of the party and an ex-guild mage of the Warpick Guild, he says that Northern Desirata doesn't have a port since they lost Lament. He feels that the rebellion doesn't really need to attack. They can play it safe by keeping their ships here and their armies. Junico thanks the mage for his scouting in the north. He says that he has decided that Southern Desirata will attack into the north. One alt will be moved to Lament, and the other 4 will follow as soon as ships can be gathered to transport them. Once supply lines and camps are set up in the north, the first alt will push forward as far north as it can to probe the defenses around Stephen's Hold. As it's reinforced, other alts will push north as well. Isaiah Tyr, the Red, and the war leader Aaron Vel are quiet during this proposal. Finn holds up his hand and begs pardon. He asks why can't they send troops through the gate in Mountain Vale. Daniel the Black seems shocked, as if he didn't know about the gate. He grills the bard, asking where it goes. Finn answers that the gate goes from Mountain Vale into the lagoon in the capital city of Deserata. Daniel asks why he wasn't told about this, and he's answered by Junico himself, saying that the Warpick Mages Guild is dealing with the gate issue. It doesn't seem to be stabled, so they've just got it warded. Daniel, after hearing this, bristles and looks deep into his ale. Jun declares a break, and the group adjourns for refreshment. During the break, Morgan notices that Priestess Linda and an acquaintance named Ree are having a heated discussion over in the corner. When Morgan interrupts the two, she finds out that Ree is Linda's mother, Rhiannon. Rhiannon is a very powerful person in the Manthuthian Combine. It was thought she was dead, but she was actually in a dungeon. She was rescued from a Deseratan prison a few months ago. Rhiannon seems to be having a good time needling Linda about her failings. Rhiannon then goes over to see Paladin Marcus. She praises him, saying that she would love to spend more time with him, learning about him and teaching him. They make a date for later that evening. Just in time, Jun calls them all back to the meeting. They begin to discuss Van Scala's issues. She, of course, has been under the influence of the Dragon Ring, as had Seraph. Scala voices the opinion that she does not want to join the forces of Dystaria, and wanted to know what they could do. Daniel the Black admits that he has very little ring lore in his background, but being a mage, the transition to slavery for Scala would be a slow one. It's quite possible that she can resist for 60 or 70 years. Someone mentions killing her and then resurrecting her. Daniel shakes his head and warns against that, since it would push her right into the incorporeal world of the Queen's shadows. Additionally, he mentions that she should avoid gates going off-world, since her affinity for the Dragon Ring could destroy the gates as well. Keberdane, who is a Warpick guild mage, agrees with Daniel's assessment, and he says that he and Scala have come up with an idea to take her to the Elflands. Paladin Marcus speaks up and says that he agrees. He had once been wounded by a night creature with a blade that left a wound that refused to heal. Junico says that that sounds like a good idea to send Scala to the Elvish lands. Additionally, he would send somebody with a proposal that they make an alliance between the Elvish Kingdom and Southern Deserata. Of course, sending Scala to the Elvish lands won't release her from the grip of the ring, but it should forestall it. Garu says that being an elf from another world, he'd like to see how elves have situated here on Mper. He would gladly escort her. Keberdane holds up a hand and says that he also would like to escort her. But there is one problem maybe they've not noticed. Going there might be a problem, since it lay on the very borders of Deserata herself, and being that close to Deserata might be too much for Scala. It's decided that the party will travel to Lament with the army, and then make its way northwest towards Deserata, traveling along the border until they come to Alwyn, which is the name for the Elvish lands. Once they get there, they can present a treaty to the elves, and they can take a lattice device with them, which can be used in communication with Sylvia's Rest. Additionally, they would ask for sanctuary for Van Scala. As the meeting breaks up, Linda approaches Paladin Marcus. She admits to him that she really dislikes him, but she warns him to be careful when dealing with Rhiannon, her mother. She gives him the warning that he should take nothing she offers, nor should he give her anything. As they're breaking up, Rhys stops by and visits Marcus again. He refuses to talk to her. She says that Linda has probably poisoned him towards her. She tells him that secretly Linda lusts for him, and that is why she pretends to hate him. She gives him a counter warning, saying that Linda has been responsible for the death of one prime paladin. He should be careful not to be the second. Marcus says he knows all about that, and then he bids her a gruff good day.